Hi again, and welcome to the Raw Marriage Show, where nothing is taboo and nothing is off limits for helping you to refresh, reconnect, and reignite your relationship. This is our 30th show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Zev Halpern. We have an exciting show tonight. Our marriage panel guests include coach and author Elaine Gibson, leadership coach Mick Carbo, and sex therapist Dr. Melanie Riccardi. We'll be digging deep into the relationship topics that you've told us you want to hear more about during the marriage panel. We're talking marriage, good and not so good, the raw and pure marriage stuff that drives our relationships forwards and backwards, confuses us, and makes us crazy sometimes. We always value your point of view. So let us know what's on your mind and what relationship challenges you want us to focus on. Send your comments directly to zev@rechargeyourmarriagenow.com. Please sit back, chillax, open your heart and mind, and consider some ways you can recharge and rekindle your marriage. Here's today's Couples FYI. This being our 30th episode, I look back to show number 1, where I asked simply, why a show about marriage? Well, I found some real and practical answers that went far beyond the surging divorce rate. So here's my take. Whether we know it or not, when we choose to be in a relationship, many times conflict is the price we pay. Unfortunately, no one really teaches us that relationships have a way to resolve conflict, express mutual feelings in a safe and positive climate, and agree to disagree, have a good chance of surviving well. While many of us know it's easier to do nothing when marriage isn't going well, some people choose to navigate the ebbs and tides of their marriage by finding ways to reconnect and recharge their marriages because it's worth it to them. Also, what we think our partners need many times does not line up with what they actually do need and want from their spouses. Since we're not telepathic, thank goodness, our marriages could benefit from our individual ability to alert our partners as to what we truly need from them. Couples that either self-soothe when we're individually distressed or soothe each other do far better than couples that vent by yelling and screaming. Angry yelling causes us to run away rather than move closer to the security a good relationship and marriage can provide. Collaborative marriages where couples work in tandem with each other reap productive rewards inside and out of their time together. Spouses and partners that encourage us to be the best we can be rather than constantly discouraging us make life apart and together positive and fulfilling. And finally, in the love and sex department, couples who explore and play with each other find ways to manufacture anticipation and novelty, ingredients which get our neural juices flowing. It's these ingredients which get couples doing it, meaning, the big bedroom shaking event, more than those that complacently accept the drudgery of a non-physical relationship. There's a lot more, and I look forward through the Raw Marriage Show to continuing to provide you with inspirational, seasoned guests and tools you can use to resolve conflict, embellish, and fortify your loving relationships. Take a look at this, and we'll be right back to introduce you to tonight's marriage panel. Welcome back. One quick thing before I introduce the marriage panel. After the show, please log on to rechargeyourmarriagenow.com to claim amazing free marriage-enhancing resources available for you to download. You won't be disappointed. And now, let's meet tonight's marriage panel. Elaine Gibson is an extraordinary woman, cited as one of the world's top 10 natural cancer survivors by Extreme Health Radio. Having beaten stage 4 cancer without traditional protocols, Elaine shares her hard-won lessons for living a clean, healthy, and natural lifestyle. Today, Elaine is a published author, sought-after motivational speaker, workshop facilitator, private coach, and a green juicin' loving grandmother. For the last several years, she's trained and coached high-achieving men and women in a new way of approaching their lifestyles by harnessing the power of positive intention. Dr. Melanie Riccardi is a licensed psychologist and certified sex therapist. She has her PsyD in clinical psychology and MED in human sexuality from Widener University. She graduated from Cornell University with a BS in human biology, health, and society, and is interested in the intersection between biological and social factors and how such social factors relate to mental health and illness. She specializes in helping couples as well as individuals with relationship issues using a direct and practical approach. She focuses on helping individuals and couples navigate the challenges faced when different aspects of their identity conflict with one another or themselves. Dr. Riccardi uses an individually tailored collaborative approach so clients can work on the specific areas they want help with, such as communication, infidelity, sexual issues, trust, and more. Her practice is in Rockville, Maryland. Mick Carbo is a certified coach and graduate of Accomplishment Coaching. As the founder and head coach of Carbo Coaching, Mick brings to the table his 18 years of experience navigating the challenges of entrepreneurship. He helps entrepreneurs and business leaders effectively grow and lead their teams to victory. Through Mick's coaching, leaders learn how to think bigger, be bigger, and create unprecedented results. From owning and operating businesses in multiple industries to loving and caring for his wife and 3 children, he knows what it takes to live a fulfilled and successful life, both personally and professionally. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Glad to be here.
So you know we always start off with a prop. So I brought a prop, and this is a needlepoint done by my wife Debbie of Picasso, The Dream. Now I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you know, if you look at it, I think some of you be able to interpret what's going on in Picasso's The Dream, and it certainly lends itself to our discussion later on. So down we go, and so this is a great panel, first of all. And what do you do when you have a needy spouse or a sick spouse? How do you take care of yourself when you end up being a caretaker in your marriage? I mean, there's caretaker marriages where people aren't sick, where they're just needy, and there's caretakers where all of a sudden it's put on you as an emergency, as a serious thing. Can we start with you,
Sure.
Elaine?
I think that there's always a point in our lives where we become caretakers. If we're lucky enough to have family that lives that long. I mean, I had my mother in her last month living with us, and but For me, the first thing is to have, I call them extraordinary must-haves. What are the go-tos that are second nature to me to take care of myself? You know, I'm somebody that believes that by taking care of ourselves, we function at a higher level. We settle for less. You know, we go beyond what
Not
we had
so
settled
great
for
to
before.
settle.
Right, yeah, and it makes me crazy, by the way. It really does. I mean, I'm just here really to make extraordinary the new normal, and I find that I have to go to a point where I am upping my game in order to give more, and I think first and foremost that's the most important thing. Just having half a dozen must-haves that we can go to second nature.
Anybody else?
Well, I am very much of the idea that it takes a village for basically anything. So having as much support from other people, other friends, family, colleagues, and so on, that the person who's a caregiver turns to goes such a long way when it comes to the well-being of that caretaker. So just bringing in resources so that that person doesn't have to do it all alone.
Takes a village.
Yeah, that for me, just to add into what you guys said, which was very poignant and great, that you know, being of service is an opportunity for us to, it's therapy for the soul, right? And I remember this one time when my wife was sick, like really sick for a good 7 days straight, and I waited on her hand and foot. And you know, there were times obviously when I was upset about it, or I didn't think that it was, you know, right for me to have to do all of that. But one thing that I learned from it is that all of those things that I say that I want and I don't have enough time to do, I actually have the capacity to do that. So I was able to expand my capacity to, you know, be with a lot of things going on at the same time and to accomplish something that I wanted to.
So people in marriages, relationships, they change. And they don't change at the same speed, certainly not. And sometimes it's rather contrasted. What do you do when you're connected to like person A or B and they've already morphed into person D, and you want to hang on to that person A because you love the person? What do you do? Anybody want to take a stab?
I think when people change, there's always a mourning process, but at the same time, it can happen so gradually sometimes that people kind of grow together and change together and don't necessarily realize how much they've changed.
That's the wish. That's the wish.
And that might be the wish. But
Fairy
sometimes
tale.
people do change so much in the fairy tale that sometimes it is about making a choice, deciding, hey, are we still compatible? Can we find ways in which we can still be compatible if right now we're not? Or sometimes, do we move on?
You said I do to this other person, and now you wake up, you know, and you go, what happened to that person? It's, you know, you use the word mourn. I mean, I'm sure it is rather mournful. Anybody else?
To me, it occurs like it's a hard decision either way, right? Like you said yes to somebody and something, and that could be hard to make a choice to, you know, move forward through all the challenges that you would have to in order to make it work, right? But it's also equally as challenging to make the choice no and actually separate. Either way, it's a hard thing.
I think that it all begins at point A, when you're both at the same point as much as you can be. And if you're really communicating and you're really interacting as an entity, as a unit together, separately and together, then as you start to grow, then ideally you should be sharing the kinds of things that you're experiencing.
So ideally and should be. There's a lot in between.
Well, right, and
ideally
it's
and
the
should be.
communication. So it starts here. If you are communicating and sharing at point A, then
Good chance you'll roll into B and D, maybe even Z. Who knows?
Right. But if you're sharing as you're growing, then and you're sharing the journey and the excitement and the things that are going on as you're growing and not leaving somebody else behind, being in the present and trying to do it as a unit. It's not easy, but
So a lot of times your spouse says something to you and you just have no, they're saying to you like, the bedroom's cluttered. This is going on. And the other person reads that as, this is like the alarm. Are we going to get divorced now? I mean, the difference between a cluttered bedroom and getting divorced is a long way. However, we don't read, and we're moving along here. So let's take a quick stab at it. Anybody, what do you do? How do you decipher what your spouse is trying to tell you? How do you do it? If they're yelling at you, are they always yelling, or are they trying to say something that you're just not hearing, and they just don't know how to express it? That's what I've come to, in answering my own question. Anybody else?
let me
quickly?
say that I hope that having a messy bedroom is not grounds for divorce.
Exactly. However,
My husband some days, will, depending on what I'm going through, will come in and have to like walk over things, and I get it and I understand. Yeah.
I get it as well. So look, we're going to move to the Sexpectations part of the show. So some people, some women, they want to be with a romantic guy. Not all guys are so romantic. And, they watch or they hear their friends say, he put rose petals on the, stairs, before we were going to go upstairs and, whatever. Is it about who we attract? Is it about a skill set? Coming in with some kind of romantic skill set? I mean, is it creativity? What is it about that? Like, what can we answer to this woman who craves this, maybe sees it and wants it? Does she ask for it? What can we say to her?
I think it's interesting because both men and women crave romance, and then they might just crave it slightly differently, or sometimes, hey, men want flowers too. So I think it really is about openly communicating your needs to the other person and saying, hey, when you're romantic to me, when you bring me flowers, when you put on the soft music, it increases my desire, it helps me find you more attractive. If you want me to be attracted to you, hey, I'm being straightforward towards you right now and telling you what it is that I need. And hey, the guy might say, hey, when you wear that red lipstick and you put on that nice dress and,
Those
you get me
uncomfortable
flowers,
high
those uncomfortable high heels, I feel turned on and attracted and I feel romantic. So it's about openly expressing that, but also for the other person to be willing to hear it and follow through.
Yeah, and perhaps answer the wish. They
Right.
served it up.
Right.
Anybody else? What do you think?
I think we teach people how to treat us. And
Like a neon sign, right?
yeah, we do. And
We're wearing it.
right. And in the beginning, I guess it's more prominent, the interaction of the flowers and all that. And but we, like you said, we have to express what we want. And for me, it's letting my husband know, or whatever I'm doing or something, that if you can help me feel my best and feel, then I have more to give you. So trying to make it put a ribbon around the whole thing. Red velvet, of course.
Well, what about romantic skills? Can it be taught? Can you teach somebody romantic skills? I think you can.
I hope so.
I mean, it seems to be. I mean, we imitate, right? I mean, at least some of us.
Right, right.
Can you follow the lead? What do you think, Mick?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anybody who has those kind of skills, whatever those skills may be, right, they're all learned. Somebody might be naturally better at that, right? And certainly people attract other people who are like that, but ultimately we all learned our behavior from somewhere. So I think it
Right.
can
I
be
mean,
taught.
you see sometimes,
Yes.
hey, that's not going to work for me. That's not sexy. That's not going to make me want to go upstairs, or go in the kitchen or wherever you do it and do it.
Yeah, and it's going to
gonna
it might be uncomfortable to say something like that, but if you're
That's
not
the key
willing to
thing.
be uncomfortable enough to have the conversation, you're never going to get what you want.
There you
Right.
And then you're going to be in a relationship where
you're
nobody's
wanting.
happy.
You'd
Yeah.
be wanting
Right.
a lot.
Yep.
And you're settling.
Oh, we're settling. And Elaine Gibson doesn't
She
settle.
does not settle, and she does not allow settling in others. I love
Exactly.
it. Yes.
I work at it.
So, what do you think about you're married and you're horny, and the other person gives you the look like you're not going to be having sex maybe for a long time, that kind of look. Some people know about what that look is. Some people don't. Some people, I think most people do. What do you do? What are you left with? Now, I mean, I got some ideas, as we all do, but reality, what do you do when that's the case? Now, I know what some people do. What do you think?
I guess my thoughts on the topic, especially for long-term couples, desire can go down. The
No
sex
question.
drive, etc., goes down. Hormones change sex drive. Having kids changes sex drive. But the whole idea behind creativity and being able to openly communicate, but also being open to maybe is huge. If people constantly have, no, I'm tired, no, I'm stressed, no, I don't like my body, no, I just don't want to, it's never gonna happen. But if they at least change it to maybe, and then start reading books together, maybe watching certain erotic videos together, reading erotica together, their mindset changes. And so once you have sex on the mind and you have it consistently every day of the week on the mind, it's going to start happening more frequently.
I mean, there's a lot of seductive distractions out there. It appears to me the world is pretty wide open. Porno. I mean, it's endless. And in some ways, it could be, the wrong answer or the wrong approach can sometimes drive people to, to those kinds of things when they wouldn't have had to if there was some kind of, obviously there's a problem in communication. Yes, about that topic. What do you think, Elaine?
Well, I think that, this is an area where people can change daily. You mentioned hormones and things like that. And catching it before it gets such a huge difference between the two, and finding somewhere where you can connect, even before it gets butting heads about the sex part. I mean, what can you enjoy together? And as you know, I'm past 72, so the sex drive is not quite the same when I was 45 or 55. But there's a lot of touching and loving and hugging and and obviously
and
that
doing and
and
things.
but that leads to it rather than saying, all right, my hormones are so we
Or tough love, dude.
or well, yeah.
Forklift guy.
Forklift
Right, a
guy.
forklift guy,
Goodness
yeah.
gracious.
So if you can find a way that you can connect, that's not threatening. That was the word. Threatening or judging or letting somebody know, I need to be hugged. We are a very hugging couple, and it just letting you know that whatever you're doing together at whatever level, I love it, and it makes me feel close to you.
That really
and
feels good. This is good for me. This is good for us.
One thing leads to another.
Wow. So this has been really, really great. You've been a great, we're out of time. That's all the time we have tonight. Melanie, Dr. Riccardi, Elaine and Mick, thanks for the inspirational panel discussion. To find out more about our marriage panel guests, here's how to contact them. To connect with Dr. Melanie Riccardi, to connect with Elaine Gibson, who has a new website, by the way, which just went live, and I just remembered to tell you that. Here's how to do it. And to connect with Mick Carbo. I've successfully counseled and coached marriages from my office in Montgomery County and virtually all over the world through my online relationship and marriage coaching practice. I invite you to find out more about how I can counsel and coach your marriage through my signature program, Recharge Your Marriage Now. Get in touch with me and you can begin to enrich your marital communication skills, be heard, say what you need to say to each other, resolve some of that raw marital conflict, reconnect for a deeper, more fulfilling relationship, spice it up, and you could be feeling the love again soon. Follow me on social media, on Twitter, subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out the podcast and on iTunes and iHeartRadio, and I'm live on Facebook on Wednesdays. Finally, try some forgiveness if you can. Hug, kiss, touch, talk, cuddle, do some vacuuming. Get out more, have a little fun, laugh a little. Talk about what you need from each other and your marriage. Do something novel. Get those neural juices going. Say you're sorry. I know it's hard. Remember, we're the sum total of our mistakes and our successes. So it's okay. We're only human. You can try again. I'm Zev Halpern. See you next time for the Raw Marriage Show.